Hello, hola, ¿cómo están? This is going to be a bilingual video in English and Spanish. Voy a hablar en mis dos idiomas natales. Y voy a hablar de cómo ser un espión mejor. I want to talk about how you can be a better spy, or at least a longer living spy. Imagina, por favor, que estás tratando de infiltrar al ejército americano y alguien te pregunta, "So what do you like on your hamburger?" Y tú dices, "I love tomato." Pues a ti no te van a dar ningún tomate. Lo que te van a dar es una bala en la frente porque has dicho esa palabra mal. In English, we could say, for example, you're trying to infiltrate the Colombian army. I'm not sure if Colombia has an army, but let's pretend. And you get to the front of the line, and the cafeteria worker asks you what you want on your hamburger, and you say tomate. Well, what you've just earned yourself is a free ticket to death, because they will immediately know that you are not Colombian, but rather an American who's trying to pose as a Colombian and get some free tomatoes. The problem here is that the words tomate and tomato look very similar, and I think this actually makes it more difficult because our brain is telling us that we know this word. Como se parecen tanto estas palabras, tomato y tomate, yo creo que es más difícil para el cerebro distinguir entre los sonidos. So I want to kind of point out some of the sounds, the differences in the sounds. Maybe this can help your pronunciation. Maybe it will help you to live a little bit longer as a spy. Posiblemente te puede ayudar como espión. I think it's also just, it feels nice. It's fun to be able to really get into the accent of another language. So I tried to come up with some sentences that maybe you could practice, maybe you could really focus in on and try and work on these troublesome sounds. El problema es que los idiomas siempre tienen sonidos que son parecidos, que tenemos en común, pero otros que son parecidos pero no diferentes. For example, the M in English, I think, is exactly the same as the M in Spanish. There's no distinction, so you can't tell if someone speaks Spanish when they're speaking English from their M's. I think there are other sounds that give it away. Miremos por favor una oración que tengo aquí que es particularmente difícil para habladores de español que están aprendiendo el inglés. Miren esta oración en inglés. My sister vividly remembers hearing something important about the president's family. My sister vividly remembers hearing something important about the president's family. Now, English speakers can probably tell already even which sounds here are difficult for Spanish speakers. Hay varios sonidos aquí que simplemente o no existen o se parecen, pero son diferentes en el español. Por ejemplo, la E, el sonido de E, the short I sound, no es como en español, no es sister, es sister. So my sister, no se dice my sister, no es my sister, es my sister, sister. Aquí aparece otra vez E. Y también esta V es muy problemático, es muy difícil para habladores de español porque siempre queremos decir vividly, pero no es vividly. Realmente se parece más a la F. Si formas la F y le echas voz, debe salir bien. Vividly, en vez de vividly, se suena como vividly. This V sound in Spanish is a bilabial sound. We touch our two lips, but in English you touch your two lips and it automatically sounds like a B. That's a problem. Right here, aquí tenemos dos R's que son difíciles. This remembers, nunca suena como r. Y también suena esa E, suena como remembers. I should point out, if you haven't caught on already, that I'm American, and this really mainly applies to American accents, although of course a lot of the sounds are common to all varieties of English. and my accent in Spanish is really more of a main, I would say standard, more or less standard Latin American accent. So, como dije, el acento que tengo yo en los dos idiomas es más o menos un acento típico, más o menos típico para americanos y más o menos típico en toda Latinoamérica. Este sonido aquí, la R también es difícil en el centro de la palabra hearing. Aquí la TH no es una T, es una TH. Debe sonar como something. Y no es O, es A. Something. Important. I think this is one of the most, probably the most difficult for Spanish speakers. This is the glottal stop. Es lo que se llama la oclusión glotal, donde hay que cerrar la garganta, la voz, como apagar la voz, como bloquear el aire momentáneamente y luego continuar, y es como que tragas esta sílaba aquí al fin. So it sounds like important. Some people say important, but it's a very soft T if it's there. It doesn't usually sound like in Spanish we would say importante, and you want to say, y por eso quieres decir importante. Pero si dices importante, inmediatamente van a saber que tú hablas español y que estás aprendiendo el inglés. Mejor decir important, cerrar el aire, o como dije, parar el aire ahí. Oclusión glotal. Aquí también ocurre otra oclusión glotal. About. No solemos decir about. Important about the president's family. Estas dos palabras también son claves. Esta S en el centro de presidente, pues en inglés suena como president. Es el sonido de Z, que en español simplemente no existe. Y quieres decir presidente, porque parece tanto a presidente, pero hay que decir president. Practica por favor esa palabra, president. Y la última palabra aquí, family, parece muchísimo a la palabra familia, pero aquí tienes que pronunciarla en dos sílabas. Family, no es family, es family. So once again, let's go from the top and pay attention to those sounds that are different. Even for, I think, an English speaker, it's interesting to note the differences, or those points that are almost the same but not quite, and so they give away, they belie your native tongue. So again, otra vez, my sister vividly remembers hearing something important about the president's family. Okay, so now for English speakers learning Spanish, here's a similar troublesome sentence. I picked some particularly difficult words for English speakers who are learning Spanish. Again, we see this familia, and it looks so much like familiar. It's a very familiar looking word to us. So you want to say familia, but it doesn't sound anything like that really. The sounds like a fa, and then the e sounds like I said, e. So fami, very strong right there, fami, and then this l, it's not like a l sound, it's more like in the front of your mouth. Ugh. So it should be like familia. Del, again, as I explained, this z sound in English does not exist in Spanish at all whatsoever. We don't ever say z in Spanish. It's always an s. So presidente, real sharp, short vowels. Presidente. Careful with this pre. It's not a rolled R like as much as I just did. It's more like a tap, like a pre. So presidente quiere, again, quiere. Really, it's closer to a D if you think about it. Quiere, right there. Agarrar. This double R is notorious, right? You've probably always had trouble with that. If you've struggled with anything, you probably struggled with this the double R, which is a rolled R. Also, we only roll it if you see it double R, or if it's an R at the beginning of the sentence, like realidad, or my first name, Ruben. In any other case, you just want to do the little tap. I'm not sure if I have any others here. Oh, here's one. Cucharas. Cucharas. You would never say cucharas. So, agarrar los tenedores. Last major point here is that in English we aspirate the T, the P, the D, and there might be some other words too. Esto es lo que se llama la aspiración, y para nosotros que hablamos español se destaca mucho. Suena bien obvio cuando alguien dice tenedor. Tenedor. Suena bastante mal, ¿no creen? It should sound like te. Your tongue is right here for the T sound. Te, tenedor, tenedores. So practice that sound. Y las cucharas. Cucharas. This is a pretty much a nonsense thing. The president's family wants to grab the forks and spoons. I think you'll have trouble fitting that in, working that into a normal conversation with a Spanish speaker. But if I'm ever in charge of the Colombian Army's shibboleth program, then I will use this sentence to trap you and reveal you as a spy. So, practice this. La familia del presidente quiere agarrar los tenedores y las cucharas. Otra vez para ustedes que están practicando el inglés, el acento americano en particular. My sister vividly remembers hearing something important about the president's family. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it was helpful and useful. I guess that's the same as helpful, and entertaining. I think contrasting the sounds in the two languages helps us to understand both our own language a little bit better, and helps us to hone in on those troublesome spots. If you have any other sentences that are particularly revealing of another accent, I think that would be cool to see, maybe as a video response. And I'm going to think of some other videos, make some other videos about maybe other languages, maybe comparing English with Russian or English with Japanese. I think I could do those too. Gracias por ver este video. Si pueden pensar en otras palabras que son particularmente difíciles o para hispanohablantes que escuchan, que notan este acento americano o de inglés realmente, lo pueden anunciar o hacer un video o ponerlo en los comentarios. ¿Cuáles son esas palabras que revelan la nacionalidad de un americano cuando están hablando en español? So, I believe that's it. Thanks for watching. Muchísimas gracias. Okay, hasta la próxima vez.